Hi Shannon, Aaron here with Gorgeous. I'm going to do our walk around on your XC90. First things first is I wanted to show you just kind of the basics of getting in, getting out, door locks, etc. So each one of your handles has a touch sensor just on the inside of it. So as long as you have your key fob right square in front of you, your buttons for lock, unlock, and that one does the tailgate on the end. This is your panic button. As long as you have the key fob with you, within about 2 feet of the door, this car is locked right now because the mirrors are folded in. To unlock, we just touch right inside to lock, and you can do this from any of the 4 doors. Press to lock. We get that little beep when it locks. We get a little no chime from there. And then since we're outside, let's go over and do the tailgate. So the little kick trick for the tailgate, it's always the first parking sensor just to the right of that exhaust tip, and it's only under that sensor. So if you try to do the gesture control with any other under any other space in the bumper, it's not going to work. So what I usually do, and again you have to have the key in your pocket to do this, but I kind of take my foot and I just sort of skid it underneath the car. So we're going to do that here quick. So just boom boom, right in, right back out. So just real quick like that, and you can use it to raise and to lower that tailgate. And there's a little icon here in case you ever forget, just right where it is, but it's only, as you can see, only underneath that specific parking sensor. It's the only place it'll work. You can also close it manually. So this will close the tailgate, this will close the tailgate and also lock all the doors. So if I want to close that again, just put my toe under and back real quick, coming down to close. Over here we'll do the doors. I want to do some stereo things here too. Quick word of advice on this. A lot of people, let's lock him up. A lot of people get in kind of a trick bag with the locks. They want to grab it with their whole hand. The problem with that is this is your lock specifically. This is your unlock. So if you grab it like so, with my thumb I'm telling it to lock, and then I'm also telling it to unlock with my fingers. So you only want to do a very deliberate unlock and a press to lock. Your seats, as well as your mirrors, as well as your heads-up display in your car, are all part of the memory system. You're going to have 3-position memory here on your car. So to set this, we would press our M and then press and hold our 1, and then we get a little chime out of it. But I wanted to show you just kind of moving the seats around, getting some different points of articulation on it. The inscriptions, as your car has this little ring with a little kind of tooth at the end of it that you can use to select different portions of the seat. So if you click it towards the floor or all the way down, what happens on your screen, if I press that little tooth down, I've selected the cushion extension, which is this piece right here. And then if I wanted to move it out, I would come out to extend that cushion, or I would bring it so back. I'm pretending this is north, south, west, and east. Press it east to come back. If you bring it up one more, now I have selected the lumbar and use that same little directional pad to move the lumbar around in your back. We're going to hop in and start this up. Get everything going here. So by pressing that little wheel up or down, bringing it up selects different portions of the seat. So I come down and I can do, once it boots up here, I can do the cushion extension, bring it up, I can do the lumbar, you could do the side bolsters, and you're always coming just side to side, one way or the other, to adjust those. The mirrors, press the L to select for left. You see the little, get it to focus there, a little green LED is lit up, and then you're going to use the joystick toggle to move it around. Same thing for the right. Little piece of advice, if you press both of these at the same time, left and right, your mirrors will fold in. So just if you're going through a car wash or something like that, if you press L and R at the same time, they fold in and fold out. Get your mirrors where you want them to be. We've got our heads-up display there. If you look right on the top of that little green electrical box, you can see that it's showing that we're doing 0 miles an hour. We're in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. So what we can do on the screen is if we swipe right, I can go to my head-up display adjustments. And then here it's telling me that I can use my arrows, my up, down, and my left and right to adjust. So up and down does height, left and right does brightness. So you can see I'm dialing it up, dialing it down. So once I have everything set where I want, I hit M and then quickly press and hold 1. And if you heard the little chime there, the little bunk, I've set my seat. So same thing for your husband. If he wants to be memory number 2, memory, press and hold 2, you get the chime. You've got 3 of those settings for each side, for the driver and the passenger side. So there are your seats and your mirrors. The next thing that I wanted to do was kind of run through some of the stocks, because these are a little different than what you've traditionally had. So over here are our light controls. So you've got this little textured ring, and right now the little hash mark is pointed towards auto. That's where you want to leave it, 9.9 times out of 10. Your car does have automatically engaging high beams or auto high beams, and that's this little icon up top here. So to select that, I twist up and then I let it go. It snaps back, but then I have my auto high beam icon right there on my screen, so I know that it's active. If you're in the country, or especially right now since there's not a lot of traffic happening on the interstate at night, you can activate that and turn it on. It'll automatically put the high beams on based on traffic around you. So if there's no one around you, it puts the high beams on. As soon as a car either starts coming, against the other side towards you, or someone's in front of you, it will actually put the high beams on automatically. So it's kind of neat. Also, you got your turn signals here, which those are just convenience. So the flash to pass, you kind of just give them a gentle nudge and they flash 3 times. This is your front and your rear fog lamps. They're big fans of putting buttons where you wouldn't expect a button to be. So I'm going to hit it with my thumb. I just turned my fog lights on. It's a little green light there. And then the one underneath that are the lower fog lamps. Don't have to use these. Some people like to. We've got our speedometer, our odometer, and underneath of that, the 136.5 is our trip computer. Over here we have distance to empty, and then your trip mileage. If you wanted to reset those, on the very end of the stock here is the reset button, and you're going to press and hold this for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then they zero out. Anytime you get a message, you can see it comes down. It kind of opens up from that little rhombus shape there. Or if I were to, let's say, activate the child door locks, which is this button right here, it gives me that notification that it's on. If I wanted to acknowledge that notification, I could press the circle and it zeroes it out. It's part of what this side is going to do over here, and we'll get to that in a second. We have our windshield wipers. Now your car has rain sensing wipers. So if you wanted to activate those, again, this is a button right here. You would press that. We get one quick sweep of the wipers, and then my rain sensing wipers are on. That's what the little icon is right next to the clock up here. And then what you would do, sorry, working on the camera here, is you can adjust the sensitivity of those with the little textured ring. So if it starts raining harder, obviously you can dial it up or dial it down. You would pull towards yourself to spray the windows. And as the icon shows, you push away from yourself to spray the back window. So there, I just sprayed and wiped off the back window by pushing towards the dashboard. Otherwise, you have your intermittent settings. So one quick one, as it shows, there's intermittent 1, intermittent speed 2, intermittent speed 3. I would just leave it in rain sensing mode. I think that works great, and is one of the features that you paid for is the rain sensing wipers, so that's the one that I would utilize the most. On the cruise control, I know you mentioned you turned some of the driver aids off, like the adaptive cruise. So when you start the vehicle up, it is in adaptive cruise control, meaning it's always going to be in the mode where it keeps distance, a set distance to the car in front of you. So to turn your cruise on, it's just this button right here in the middle. There's no cruise on or cruise off, and then set, for instance, there's just a set. and that's the button right here in the center that looks like a little speedometer. So we get up to the speed we want to be at, we press set. There will be an icon of our car, and then there will be these little gray blocks in front of that car. And there's a video tutorial of this on the owner's manual I'm gonna show you. But you can adjust your following distance to the lead car once you've set with the top and the bottom buttons here. So this button up here would follow closer to the car in front of you. This button below, the 3 blocks, the 3 lines, follows further away from the car in front of you. And you'll have a graphic up here on your display that's going to illustrate that. So I can follow further away, or I could follow closer to that person. Always an adaptive cruise when you start the car, regardless of what mode it was in when you turned it off. What you can toggle to is the pilot assist. So if I hit the right arrow, and now it is in pilot assist mode. So pilot assist, on our test drive, we drove up to Valley in pilot assist, and that's where you have the semi-autonomous cruise control. So the car will actually actively steer based on the road lines to keep our XC90 centered in the lane. You have to keep a hand or a couple fingers on the wheel. And it also does the adaptive cruise feature. So it's still distance pacing to the car in front, but it's doing active steering at the time. So that's a mode you're going to use longer trips, lots of interstate work. That's generally where I like to employ that. Otherwise, I use the adaptive cruise. So we hit to the right to go to pilot assist. If I go and hit to the left, now it is back in adaptive cruise control. So that's what this left and right do on this side of the steering wheel, is it toggles between pilot assist to the right and adaptive cruise to the left. Over here, you've got your voice command, and there's a lot of different things you can do with this. So right here, I can press that, set temperature to 70 degrees.
Temperature set to 70 degrees.
You can see it's only on one side, not both. So if I wanted to synchronize those, I could say synchronize temperature.
Temperature synchronized.
Turn on seat heat.
Turning on seat heat.
So there's a multitude of things I can do with that voice command by pressing this button over here through the Volvo system. There's going to be a lot more you can do through Apple CarPlay, which I'm going to show you a video of here at a later date too. This is going to be your volume up, your volume down, and then these are going to, right now, it's our home button, navigate our stations. So we turn the volume up, skip. Pretty easy. This one right here, so if you press that, it pulls up this little sub menu for the trip computer, the media, the navigation, your phone once our phone is connected. So then I can navigate with the up and down through this menu, so I can look at all my trip information. And if I wanted to put it in tourist mode, as your car was the other day, you can see it just flipped over to kilometers per hour. I'm going to hit the circle and deselect that again. If you arrow to the right, it's kind of a quick way to go between AM, FM, and Sirius XM. We'll go over to phone. Phone is not highlighted because we don't have a phone hooked up, but if I had a phone hooked up, all my contacts, my previously placed phone calls would show up there. Navigation shows me previous destinations entered. So I hit that again to shrink that menu down. Fuel, obviously over here. Your car is going to have a couple more icons. I don't have another T8 in the lot here to show you, but it'll have an icon for the battery, the state of charge here as well, in addition to just the gas. So, okay. So here's kind of the big thing for, probably the biggest learning curve of everything in terms of the Volvo product is just the screen. The best resource for you, and I'm going to explain a few things here, but I want to show you kind of where to see it for when you don't want to watch the video or listen to me at least. You can look it up and see it on the owner's manual. So from top dead center here, pull down owner's manual. This is a really good resource. It's actually got some video tutorials, goes into a little bit more in depth about the adaptive cruise, the pilot assist, some other features. So you can go and just search it and use it like a browser. So if I wanted to search for, let's say the garage door openers, because you've got 3 home link buttons, 1, 2, 3 here for 3 separate garage doors. I can just type in garage door and program my home link, and then I've got my step-by-step instructions here that I can read through. Conversely, up on the top left corner here, I've got some bookmarks basically. If I go to my video, it actually has a whole video for how adaptive cruise works, how pilot assist works, the cross traffic alert system, the parking assist camera, the park assist pilot, the power tailgate. Again, gives you a better video of that than probably I was just able to do. But I want you to look back at this and use this as a resource, especially as far as the adaptive cruise and the pilot assist goes, because that's a little different than the car you had prior to this in terms of its functionality. This, the one hard button on the whole screen, this is your back button. If I press that, you can see it gets me back to where I just was one screen prior. So if I swipe to the right, I have a lot of different safety items that I can either turn on or turn off. So the lane keeping aid we want to leave on. And then if I want to get back to my main screen, I hit here.